Good morning, Juliana.
Good morning, you guys. Hi.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. So, this campaign this week, it's called Breast Cancer Fight Club, and we know that you are a cancer warrior. But tell us about your life before your diagnosis.
Okay, let's put it this way. I am sort of semi-retired, but in my group of people, we call it active retirement, which means we still continue to do what we can do. So what I do on a freelance basis is I do training, I do coaching, career coaching, I do HR consulting.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you were in HR before.
Yes, I was in a HR in a multinational before I left full-time work.
Okay.
I'm trying to avoid to use the word retirement.
Retired. Because you haven't retired yet. You're still doing
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yes.
And you're a mom of 4 as well.
Yes, I do have 4 fairly grown-up children. 2 of them are working, married, they live abroad. My third one is also working and she works overseas. And the youngest was studying or is studying still and was overseas, but has come back because of MCO.
Oh, so most of your children are overseas,
Yes, that's true.
except for the youngest one. Yeah.
Yeah, he came back just prior to the first MCO earlier this year.
Okay. Now tell us about the events that led up to you going to check
Oh,
for
okay.
your cancer. What happened?
What happened? Okay. Basically, for about 10 years or more now, you know, when you're in a corporate environment, you have to do your executive medical screening, etc. So in the early years, I discovered, or what the doctor says is I have a lumpy breast. So we shall monitor, okay? So everything was going pretty well. After that, just late last year, I went to check up, regular checkup, and the doctor gave me a clean bill of health. And she says, "You're fine." That was 2019. I'll see you in 2021. That's what she told me. But then late last year, sometime just before Christmas, I felt this little lump on my right breast, and I said maybe I should do something, but I didn't. I waited until Christmas, January. I went in to check in February this year. And, you know, with all the scans and the mammogram, etc., they said, okay, you have a lump. They did some tissue cell check, and then it says, okay, looks like it's the real thing. Let's remove the lump. So I went for a lumpectomy sometime in March. And that's when I got the news afterwards that it was confirmed. Okay, that was the lousy part. But the good news is we caught it at an early stage.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm very grateful for my doctor, my breast surgeon, and my oncologist. They've done a pretty great job in the sense that they make me feel reassured.
But what went through your mind though, Juliana, when the doctor told you that it was
Actually,
cancer?
that was basically at that point in time, I was pretty calm, I must say, but in a way numb as well, you know, because you really don't know how to feel, you know. It's so after I got home, quiet time, asking the questions, why me, you know? I'm gonna get a bit emotional.
So
anyway, so what do you call that? But I accepted it, you know, I accepted it. In fact, I was alone at that time. All my family members not around. So I had a lot of time to reflect. And I understand that there is a lot of cases going around. Being in the breast center of the hospital, you see the number of cases, it's incredible, you know. There's so many, and when you talk to somebody else, you know, there's like just about somebody else knows somebody who's going through this process, or, you know, or being diagnosed with breast cancer or any other cancer for that matter. So, okay, I decide let's be positive about it. I what next was, I had to deal with myself. I was just one thing I asked the doctors a couple of times is, you know, what did I do wrong as in, you know, where did I go wrong? Because I generally feel that I have been fairly healthy in my lifestyle. I work out, I exercise, I don't, I eat moderately, I don't overdo things, you see. So that was what I was running through my mind. But I didn't let it stay. I said, hey, we have to tackle this, do what the doctor says, and try to recover as fast as possible.
When did you tell your husband and your family about this diagnosis? Or were they there with
It's
you?
like this, huh? Just a moment.
Yes, yes. I will ask you the question again. How did your husband and your family take the diagnosis, or were they there with you when the doctor told you about the cancer?
I was alone when I was diagnosed. So I came back home, I reflected. The first person I called was actually my dear and near girlfriend, Angela, who is a survivor herself. Okay, so I shared with her. And because everybody was overseas, I said, maybe I shouldn't tell my kids. You know, I didn't want to. Oh.
You didn't
Anyway,
want to.
so
Yeah.
she says, Julie, no, you have to tell them. Okay. So I prepped myself as in I listed out what I would say to them. I wrote down what the doctors said so that I could explain to them better and try to be as positive as possible when I was talking to them. So I started first with my husband, and then I started with my eldest. And I went down the line with my kids to tell them, all right? So that's how it was. I must say I was very calm, more calm than I am now. And I just broke the news to them. I really cannot say how they took it because I wasn't there, you know. But what was good was the four children, they got together, in terms of they FaceTime, because we were already in MCO at that time, I think, or the world was going to shut down with the COVID-19. They got together, they got closer, they talked to each other, you know, as to how and what we, how they would support me from being afar. Okay.
Were they shocked? Were they?
I think it was really hard to say how they felt because, you know, like I said, I'm not there in person to see. But the good thing is it brought them closer.
How about your husband?
He was working in the Mid-East, so he actually terminated his contract, came back to Malaysia, which was a good thing rather than be locked down in the Mid-East.
Yeah.
So he was back home as well. All right.
Okay.
So he was pretty quiet about it, didn't say much, but accepted it as Islam, just supported in whatever way was necessary.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were just diagnosed in March of this year, so this is still very new to you.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're still undergoing treatment right now.
I have finished my main treatment. Okay, after the lumpectomy, when they removed the lump and send it for biopsy to determine the extent, etc. It's amazing the science of it all. They come back and then with that they diagnose a course of treatment. So in my case, they decided to do the chemotherapy first because it's a smaller lump, smaller area. They did the chemotherapy first. I underwent my cycles in April, May to June. It was all during the MCO. And then after that, in the month of July, I did my radiotherapy, 20 sessions of it. I was feeling good. I used to drive myself to the hospital, do the radiotherapy, and come back, no problem.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So basically, very much quite independent. I did a lot of my on my own. Um, so then after this, now that I've finished those two stages, I'm on at the third one, which is goes over a year, and that's every 3 weeks that I have to, because it's called Herceptin, because I was diagnosed to be HER2 positive. Now that is a scientific name for this peptide that's in my system that triggers normal cells to become possibly become cancer cells.
Mm.
So I'm under this Herceptin treatment for a year, and that will go on till March 2021.
All right.
All right, and at which time, hopefully, when they do another scanning, I will be clear of, or at least there are no signs of possible cancer cells.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
has life changed for you after your
Uh,
diagnosis? Have you made major changes in your life?
that's a good question. While I was during the treatment time, I was definitely more concerned about my diet. I have to say I slowed down on my exercise, my physical activity. I was just focusing on getting well. Um I kept myself busy. It was MCO time, so it was very tough, with doing a lot of things but not being able to see others.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're very much on your own, but I had to be extra strong in that respect. Yeah, but I would say it gave me. I always look at the MCO being a little bit from the positive perspective. Is it gave me time to focus on myself. Okay, like my son says, "Mom, you have to try not to be selfless," which means now spend time, focus on yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So with that advice, I think that's what I did. I basically focus on myself while going through the treatments. Just be positive, and everything will be okay. All right. I think the beautiful part is when I'm out there at the cancer center, going for my treatments, I see other people who are in more, what would you say, more dire, more difficult situations than I. So I have to say that I'm very blessed. You
Yeah.
Yeah.
can understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How tough were the treatments? Did you, at some point, did you go, wow, I did not expect it to be like this?
Uh, I would say they went pretty well. I mean, there was no major side effects. When you go through all these treatments for cancer, whatever they do, there's also some side effects.
Yeah.
I must say that I was doing a lot of research, reading, that the good websites that my doctor recommended, which was breastcancer.org. So I was reading. She says, "Don't go read the other crap. Just focus on the good ones."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did that and tried to educate myself in the process. So I was aware of things that was happening, the side effects, but I would say they weren't serious. I'm very blessed in the sense that it has been a generally smooth journey in that respect when I went through the chemo.
Mm.
All right. Yep.
So there was
So
no like aching body all over, loss of appetite and things like that.
Uh, I won't say there isn't or there wasn't, but I just didn't let that bother me. Um, I basically feel that I have a high tolerance for pain, for this, for that. So I'm just aware of it, and I just have to move forward. Don't let it bring you down.
Mm.
Just stay positive, and that will take you through the difficult times.
How do
Yeah.
you stay positive though? What keeps you going so
Uh,
strong during these difficult times? A lot of
Yeah,
people would.
that's a good question. I
Mm.
think that's very difficult to say, but that generally is my makeup, as in that's myself. I mean, over the years of working, over 30 over years of working, you know, when you have to lead a team and you have to lead the organization of human resources people, you just have to be stronger than the rest. You have to be very positive. You have to find solutions. You have to look for alternative ways to approach things. And I think with that kind of experience, you know, I just had to do what I had to do, number one. Number two is the fact that my children, the four of us, the four of them, they used to dial in, and we used to FaceTime practically every week, okay, usually on the weekends, and keeping them updated as what was happening over here. And, you know, so actually indirectly also, as I said, that brought all of us together. And we actually cleared the air on lots of things. Like I was telling my kids, my only request to them during this time is, let's be authentic. Authentic in the sense that whatever is on our minds, let us share. Open, be frank, open and honest. Okay? So that was my only request to my children. Okay? I didn't expect them to come back. More so, I guess they would have jumped on the plane if it wasn't for MCO or world global shutdown.
Yeah.
But because of circumstances, I truly understand. So we kept together like this, and we still keep together like this. You know, thank God for technology. We can see and converse and talk to each other.
How important do you think family support is for someone who is going through cancer treatment?
I think it's utmost. For me, there were three things that actually I felt. Strong mind, me myself, being able to turn this, not to look at it as a problem, but as a challenge, and making that challenge into an opportunity. So having this strong mind, okay? So I asked myself, why me? What am I supposed to do? But how can I help, you know, others as well? Number two is strong faith, okay? I think prayer helps a lot. It definitely helps a lot. And thirdly is strong relationships, as in with your loved ones, you know? I think that's important. So for me, the driving was my loved ones, my family. They were the important things that kept me going through this. Okay.
You've been very positive throughout this journey, but was
Yeah.
there a point where you just feel that it was like, this is very, very difficult, I don't know if I can go through this? Can you share with us like what maybe the most difficult part of this journey for you?
Actually, basically, there wasn't. I think the most difficult was not having them around, you know, because of MCO. But on the other hand, the most difficult part, I think for me, I just tried to manage and maintain my weight. Okay, I didn't want to let that become a downside. I didn't want to let my immunity go low, especially with the COVID-19 around. I had to manage that. But on a personal side, I believe that I had to be strong. I had to be strong for whatever reason, because there's so much more that there is in life. I have a whole bucket list of things that I would want to do. And every year, I also have a dream wish that I want to visit a new country, as well as if I've been to that country, a new city, you know what I mean? So I have this list of things that I want to do. I have, my kids are still young, they still need me. I want to be there for them, you know? So these are the things that kept me going. And it's like, hey, life. There's so much life to live, so just hang in there.
Have you always thought like that, or was it after your diagnosis that
Oh,
it
it's
changed your
always
perspective?
it's always been like that. Like, just for example, my dream is actually to visit every country in Southeast Asia.
Mm.
Okay, so I've done most of it. I just have two more, which is Laos and Myanmar. Okay, I've done the rest. So I still need to work on that, for example. Just one example. So I have a whole bucket list of things to do. This year I was supposed to go to Machu Picchu, if that was to work out. And you see where we are today. Machu Picchu at home.
Nobody's visiting anywhere
Yeah.
this year.
Did you?
Yeah. So you see, it's like a break for me. Take some time, relook at things, reset your compass, and then see what's next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so many things that there is to live for. Yeah. So just be positive and you'll be okay. That's how I feel.
Earlier, you mentioned that you're wondering, what did I do wrong? Did I eat wrong? Did I do this wrong? Did you ever
Yeah.
stop, like, because you can't do that, right? Did you ever stop blaming yourself in a way?
No, because I that was the moment that I felt like, why me? Where did I go wrong? You know, um, is there a message to me? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Still searching for the answers, you know, but in the process, trying to be a better person, trying to find my ikigai.
Like that term as well. Yeah.
Okay, trying to find my ikigai, because as the years go by, as the decades go by, your life purpose changes. Okay,
Mm.
so now that in my being in my 60s, I'm trying to find what my purpose is. Okay,
Yeah. Mm.
so I don't dwell too much on that in the why me, why that, but I'm trying to look forward for the answers.
Mm.
So those are the things that were running through my mind. But I say, hey, there's a lot more that I can do. So find the reason, find the purpose, and do it. Okay?
Do you ever worry though that come March 2021, you will not get some positive news?
Oh,
That it may have returned?
yeah, that is a worry, but I don't let it get the better of me. All right? I was a little bit over analyzing when I was locked down in the early months of April, May, but then I said, hey, I was trying to read everything, the news, but I said, hey, that's not helping me. I just have to let go of it, because I didn't want that negativity to hold me back. Well, it's there. We can survive. We will live through this. And it's just that we have to, as long as you follow the standard operating procedures, SOPs, we should be okay. Let's not live in fear. I always believe that a positive mindset, psychologically, it will affect your physiology and your health, your overall well-being. So it always starts with the mind, and then the body, and then your spiritual self. So as long as you take care of all this, I feel you should be okay. All right. So I don't let the world, what's happening in the world, bother me too much. Though I keep informed, but at the end of the day, is stay positive and living life to the fullest as it. But like I said, I had to be selfish at certain points and just focus on myself. Yes, I did that. But now that I'm feeling much better, to be honest with you, this year I have done face-to-face training in August. I had a couple of days. I've done some virtual training face-to-face. I still do coaching online, whether it's Zoom, WebEx, Microsoft Teams. I still do that because I feel I can still support and, help others. Okay.
And also takes your mind off things in a way, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. You have to keep this busy and occupied. Definitely. Otherwise, it'll be an empty mind. Yeah, you're so right.
Now,
Yep.
for us women, I think sometimes we worry about, the crowning glory.
Oh,
Were
yes.
you were you upset, I guess, when you
Okay.
started losing hair?
Belle, that's such an important question. I think that was the only thing that really got me a little bit upset. Like this, when I was diagnosed, okay, I managed to get, so I used to have shoulder length hair and had very nice hair, and I knew that was going to happen. And I said, okay, before anything else, let me get a nice haircut. So I cut it short, I cut it short. And then when I was starting to go through the chemo, after the first chemo, I think by week 2, week 3, uh, that started to happen. I started to lose hair, and that what was really getting you down, and as in most cases, was when you wake up, you see hair on your pillow, etc. When you shower, there's hair all over. So then I said, hey, I cannot go through this. I spend a lot of time cleaning up the bed, cleaning up the shower area, etc. And I said, no, it's so demoralizing. So I said, hey, I think I better shave, get it all out, so I don't.
Really? Wow.
Yep, yep. And it was MCO. You remember hairdressers were shut down, barbers were
Yeah,
shut
yeah.
down, etc. Okay, so what I did, I what do you call this? I went by a nice shaver, a nice men's shaver,
Mm-hmm.
the one with the flexi neck. I googled YouTube. What's that? I went on YouTube Shorts how they do the close shave, etc. When I was at the pharmacy, I mean, you still could go to pharmacy. Got all I needed, came home, and I slowly did it myself.
Wow.
Slowly but surely, I did it.
When did it
Maybe
start
over.
growing back though? I mean, like it looks great now. I
Yeah,
love
I
the
have
look.
I
a.
like the salt and pepper.
Yes, so true. I like the salt and pepper too. I always wanted to see, when I had my hair longer and I had it colored. I always wanted to see what my natural hair color is like as the years go by.
Mm.
So two things that I managed to achieve. I always wanted to go bald, as like fundraising, etc., but never had the guts to. So here I am. First thing that I done bravely. Secondly is no hair color. So yeah, so I have to live with this for now and see how it is. So this is now. I finished my chemo in June, so it's like 4 months of starting
Yeah.
to
But
regrow.
when you were shaving your own hair, did
Yeah,
it feel like, was it like a cathartic experience, like, or did
uh,
you just do it as a matter of fact?
it was both lah. I mean, I had to do it as a matter of fact, but when you're going through the process of catharsis, yes, you feel it that way. Yeah. But I felt it was necessary. And it was actually acceptance that, hey, you're going through the chemo, you know? So that period, what helped me was I wasn't meeting a lot of people that was right smack during MCO. But come August, I attended a training myself. That was self-development. I was going through a coaching certification course in August when they reopened. So I was attending a face-to-face. I had 4 days of face-to-face in July, August, I think. No, that was in July. I was doing my radio therapy then. So I would go for that, but I used to do some headgear kind of turban stuff because I didn't have hair at that time. So that at that point you feel a little bit inadequate,
Mm.
incomplete, but that's something that you feel that you have to accept. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah. And I actually wanted to like not use anything, but I was more afraid about offending people who are around me. So I says, okay, let's wear a turban or let's wear a scarf or something like that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As for me, I felt it was okay. I could accept it. That this is me. This is what I look like.
Did
You know,
people around you ask though?
some people who were perceptive, yes. Some people who were closer and know me, yes, who I met before, but not everybody.
Okay.
In a way though, I mean, yes, we're talking about matter of fact or whatnot, but when you were shaving your
Yeah.
hair, you
Yes.
also feel like I've lost control over something. I'm taking back some control with this.
Um, yes, definitely. Yeah, you know, because hair can grow back. That's number one, you know. You trust that it will grow back. The only thing that is because your hair follicles are killed off, and that's why you lose your hair, is how much of it will grow, to what extent. But I was kind of positive, and with my oncologist reassurance that don't worry, it will come back. You know, you just have to be patient. Yes, you feel you lose something about yourself, you know, when you shave your hair, and that's such an important element, especially in females. All right, but you just wait and look forward to when it does happen, and I think it's coming on quite well now. Yeah, but I didn't let that even bother me. On the positive side, you know, having a shower and doing a hair wash, it's so much easier.
You
No
don't need,
hassle.
yeah, don't need shampoo, don't need so much shampoo anymore, right?
No hassle, no nothing.
So you were like, wow, this is quite cool. I like this, right?
Yeah. You're so right. You know, to towel dry it is also so fast. The only thing that I did differently was I didn't use any of the normal shampoo or chemical-based shampoo. I used baby natural shampoo, organic shampoo.
Yeah.
So I just went that way. That's all.
Mm,
You
mm.
know, so I didn't fuss too much, but you know, but then I just accepted, hey, you know, it's so much easier. I don't have to, I don't need, I put away all my hairbrushes and combs also, for that matter.
And you look so cool. You look like a
I
cool
love the look.
mom, you know? Now,
Yeah.
Juliana, like, what has this cancer diagnosis taught you about life?
Oh, what are you talking about life? Okay, that's um basically I think it's like you reflect about it, you know that it's it's not a major crisis,
Mm-hmm.
especially in today's world. I think there are more and more cases. Every time, and I'm in the hospital at the cancer center, I see other people, and some are in more dire situations. And I say, hey, I am grateful. Grateful because, you know, things could be worse, but it's just that uh, I know I can fight this battle. I know I can do more, not just for myself, for my family, um, for people around me. Um, Preparing myself for my future, as in when I go into uh, less work. So actually, what I'm trying to do, and I've had this idea, you know, because in my neighborhood we do have a number of senior citizens. So it's like, how can I support or be useful to them? Okay, like during MCO, my neighbor, when she needs to go to the market, so if my husband is going out to the market, I said, just ask her what she needs. We can always get stuff for her, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Okay.
Because she's not mobile, etc. And then for my other neighbors, you know, I'm sure many of them feel lonely. So what I like to do, and I had this dream many years ago, is like I want to do have a place where they can come together, spend spend their mornings together, do things, even if it's just sit down, have a drink, chit chat. But what I wanted to bring was what I call art jamming.
Right.
Art jamming. So provide them with the materials to express themselves through painting. Okay, I've talked to a number of people about this, but many of them say, "Oh, but I'm not good at art." I say, "No, it's just something that we need to come in and just express yourself. There's no right wrong." So I want to do this. I was thinking of renting a place, but then that's too much of a hassle. Then I said I'll open my garden area for this, you know, and just have a few tables and chairs, have a few people come in to do this, so that they can sit there, be comfortable, be themselves, have some company, and just express themselves through art. Okay. Well, bad news that we're going through MCO. It's supposed to happen in October. And, working on this, but now this is going to be delayed.
Mm.
I also try to do a little bit of gardening because I feel that's also therapeutic.
Yeah.
It helps. And, with our neighbors, the neighbors that we do, we exchange plants, etc. So these kind of things that we can do to create or help the senior citizens in my area, it doesn't have to be very many, but even if you can touch the lives of a few people, that will help a lot.
Have you considered any other alternative therapy for yourself?
That is a very good question. A lot of people do suggest alternatives, other things, but in my case, I didn't want to complicate things. Okay, I told myself with prayer and leaving it to the hands of these two people that I have chosen or trusted, my breast surgeon and my oncologist. I said, no, I'm not going to look at, and I didn't even bother to look at second opinions for that matter, all right? Because I didn't want to get so, how would you say, allow myself to be disturbed with different varying opinions.
Yeah.
And I just said, let's focus on this and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
So though there are many alternatives, there's the natural remedies, homeopathy, etc., which I do not say it is not good or not right, but I just said, let's just stick to this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the others won't work, but it can be conflicting if you do one and you don't do the other, or if you do one, you cannot do the other.
Yeah.
So I just said, just focus on this and, give it your best shot now, and just pray and hope everything will be good. Hopefully it doesn't come back.
But what would you say then, Juliana, to someone who is going through something similar in their lives? What's your advice to them?
I think the first thing is for me, it was to love myself. So for them, it is like, love yourself, do what you need for yourself. Firstly, don't worry about other things. Be positive. Be positive. So, and be prepared to seek or ask for help. Seek support if you need to. All right. And don't be angry. Number one is don't be angry. Like, once you start feeling angry at whoever or whatever it is, you already are on the wrong track. So you have to accept it first. Okay, accept it as it's something that's happening, but I have the capability, or if I love myself, I can I can make myself better. I can treat myself, just by being me and loving myself and seeing that I can be better. And then with that, also seeking the support, because you can't do everything yourself, seeking the support of others around you to help you. You can't lash it out or take it out on any other person, because nobody wants this, okay? I remember I met a good friend, a dear friend, some years ago, and she was so positive about it. And I said, what are you doing here? And she says, oh, I struck lottery. I got bonus. And she told me, what? And she was so positive about it. And I keep in touch with her, and she is still going, and she's amazing. So all these role models that I have, there's one who's close to 10 years, the one I mentioned earlier, Angela. She has been my anchor, my support, the person I go to when I have questions, So that to me is important. You need help, you need support. You cannot be angry, okay? And you have to love yourself.
You look like someone who's not one of those. grab life by the horns and go for it? Because looks like it sounds like you're gonna beat this. We know you're gonna beat this. When this pandemic ends, you're gonna travel. You're gonna go to Machu Picchu. You're gonna go Myanmar and Laos. So what after that? What's next? You feel like you can take on everything. You're gonna do bungee jumping, skydiving.
I wish I wish I could, but I eliminated bungee jumping about it was on my bucket list. I eliminated
Really?
that about 3 or 4 years ago. Because as you age, your body is not that strong anymore. So I heard that it has an impact on your spinal. So I said I can't take risks,
Mm.
Yeah.
like last year I went ice skating and I had a fall, fractured my wrist.
Oh my God!
no.
You
That was
daredevil.
that was the year before. So there are certain things that I have to strike off the list, basically because of age, so I can't push too much. But in general, I think there's lots that I can still do, if not for myself, to help people around me.
Yeah. Well, we
Okay.
love your outlook in life and we wish you all the best, Juliana. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us.
Okay, most welcome. I hope that everything turns out well. And to anybody who's out there who is going through this, a positive mind is more than half the battle won.